What's going on, everyone? The Lakers take on the San Antonio Spurs tonight, and this is a huge game for a multitude of reasons. Obviously, the Lakers are trying to right the ship, get back on track, have a nice turnaround. Currently sitting at 4-10, trying to get to 500 and beyond, and they got a really nice stretch of games that they should win. Right? They're playing a Spurs team that is trying to tank, they're trying to rebuild and restructure, and the Lakers are a team that is trying to compete. They're trying to win a championship. You got LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook. That's always the goal in that case. And we're going to see what the Lakers got against the San Antonio team. They also play San Antonio 3 times in the next 5 days, which is insane. Whoever did that schedule is just doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. But nonetheless, this is a huge opportunity for the Lakers to do some scouting as well on the Spurs. Many people want to see the Lakers make the Spurs trade, right? Many people want to see the Lakers do some trade, any trade, right? And I am personally a big fan of the Spurs trade because I think not only could you get 2 or 3 pieces, Jakob Poeltl, Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, or you could just get Josh Richardson, Doug McDermott, and regardless, you'd still get a trade exception. If you take Jakob Poeltl, then you'd get about a $13, $14 million trade exception. If you don't take him, then you get about a $21 million trade exception. So this deal really opens the door for not just this acquisition, but another piece or two down the line, maybe around the trade deadline if the Lakers will work out a deal. They've talked about how they don't want to do anything until after Thanksgiving. Well, we are vastly approaching Thanksgiving. We are 4 days away from Thanksgiving. So I imagine after this stretch of games, the Lakers are going to start making decisions and looking at what direction they want to go. And the Spurs are a team that is really being rumored for quite some time to be a destination for the Lakers to acquire players. And now you're going to get to see a close and personal look at Jakob Poeltl and kind of gauge, would he be a nice fit next to Anthony Davis? Josh Richardson, whether he starts or comes off the bench, you're going to get a nice look at him. Is he really this 3-and-D type player? Doug McDermott, can he really be this dead-eye shooter, right? It's kind of an interesting thing because if you're the Lakers, or the Laker fans specifically, you want to see these guys just smack the Lakers. At least these 3, right? You don't want to see the Lakers lose the game, but you want to see these 3 guys just ball out, right? Because if these 3 guys ball out, then that justifies Rob Pelinka to maybe look at making a deal for these guys. I also think that these guys really kind of keep the flexibility because they're all expiring, so you could go and still maintain what you need to maintain for next season if you need to, or you could go and re-sign these guys, go over the cap because you'd have all their bird rights, and you could also keep guys like Walker and Austin Reeves, things like that. So I think that would be an interesting piece as well, but I really want to see these 3 guys just smack us. I don't want to lose the game, obviously. Obviously, we need to win games because, if the Lakers go into this stretch and these next 6-7 games or whatever, and they're 2-5, then that might make Rob Pelinka go, hey, maybe we shouldn't do a deal this year. The season's bad. It's a loss. Write it off. So we do have to win games. We need to win at least 2 of the 3 games against the Spurs. Obviously, I'd like all 3, but it's so hard to beat any team 3 straight times, especially in a 4 or 5 day span. I mean, even in the playoffs, you usually have a day or 2 in between each game. So I imagine the Lakers get the win tonight and then win one of those 2 games on the back-to-back. But regardless, we definitely need some wins, but I really want to see these 3 guys ball out. I want to see Jakob Poeltl give me a 20-10 game, Josh Richardson go for 25, Doug McDermott go for 15, something crazy like that, and just really show, this is, in many ways, this could be an audition for these 3. They're auditioning to convince the Lakers, hey, trade for us. We want to go from, a team that is tanking to a team that is actually trying to compete. And we could help in that department. So I really want, to keep an eye on these 3 guys and just kind of see what they do for in this game and just the other 2 games. Because you're going to have a 3-game sample size to really gauge these 3 guys. And hopefully it'll be enough for the Lakers to go and maybe acquire them. But Lonnie Walker is going to be the big story, right? First game against his former team. I expect Lonnie Walker to ball out. He has been fantastic for us. You can make the argument he's been our 3rd best player. And he's just consistently night in and night out, just really giving us buckets. And I expect him to just really show what he's got. Like, I expect this to be maybe one of his biggest games. I mean, he scored 28 in a game, so it might be a little hard to top that, but wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all. I just expect him to have a big game. I think he has at least 20-plus points in this game. I think he knows these guys. He knows this team. He knows how to attack them. He's played against a lot of these guys in practices and scrimmages and stuff. So he knows where to attack, what to do, all that stuff. So I think this is going to be a big game for him. At least I hope so. And sort of a spotlight game. It'd be nice for him to get a win. I wouldn't be shocked if he has big games in all three of the upcoming Spurs games. And we could use it, right? Like, we need any production, big production we can get. And Lonnie Walker, I think, is the guy that can really help in that department. But another real highlight, another kind of guy to watch out for. It's kind of what this is just like, who are we looking out for on the Spurs side as well as our side. And then, Thomas Bryant was fantastic in the last game. Gave us like 8 and 8, but he was like perfect from the field. Or no, he missed 2 shots. That's what it was. He was perfect until towards the end of the game. But regardless, he like, if he can provide that consistent like 8 and 8, 12 and 8 for the Lakers, we don't need a 20 and 15 center. Because you got Anthony Davis and you got LeBron James, you got all your pieces, Lonnie Walker, all this stuff. You need a guy that can come in, play his role. If you need 15 from him, he can get you 15. If you don't, he doesn't care. He'll play his role. He'll knock down his shots. He's a lob threat. He's a hustle guy. Can play some defense a little bit. He's not the greatest defender in the world, but he's serviceable enough. He's solid, and I expect him to continue to have this progress. I mean, that was his first game back, and this dude on Washington was great. I mean, he was like a 15 and 9 guy, 15 and 8 guy for Washington. Like, he's really solid. Like, he's had big monster games. So, if we don't need him to do that, I mean, obviously if he can, then great. But ideally, we need a center to come in and just be able to provide, quality minutes. So Anthony Davis doesn't have to carry so much of a load, right? And I really like our 3 big rotation of Anthony Davis, Thomas Bryant, and Wenyen Gabriel. I really like them because they each one offers and provides different things, and you could play all 3 of them together, not at the same time, but you get what I'm saying. Like, you could play, like, we saw Thomas Bryant and Anthony Davis, and it worked. You saw Thomas Bryant Wenyen Gabriel, and it works. Anthony Davis Wenyen Gabriel, and it works. I really like that three big rotation that we got there, and they each give you a different look. Dennis Schroeder is important. He had a bit of a rough game in the first game, but it was his first game back coming from injury. He had his moments. It was solid, but he only had 2 points, and but he only took like 3 shots. He was like 1 of 3 from the field. He's probably going to take a little time to ease in, especially because it was a finger thing. You got to imagine it's going to affect his shooting. He's got to get his shooting back right. He's got to get his dribbling back right, all that stuff. So I do expect him to take a couple games to get into the swing of things, but he makes Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn, as well as Russ to an extent, more expendable, easier to trade and unload, right? Because if you're going to do Spurs deal, you're likely giving up Russell Westbrook. So you need that point guard that can come in and really be that contributor the way Russ has been. And Dennis Schroeder is the only guy I see right now that has that potential, that could get you, 15, 5, and 5. Or, give you 18 a night off the bench. Like, I could see Dennis Schroeder being that guy for the Lakers, and then it makes it easier to unload Russell Westbrook. Because Patrick Beverley clearly isn't that guy. He's been pretty bad for us this year. Kendrick Nunn had a really good game last game, and maybe that's the beginning of a turnaround. But in reality, just what we've seen this season, he just doesn't have it in him. And I really like Kendrick Nunn. I was so high on Kendrick Nunn before the season began. I still believe that like Miami Heat Kendrick Nunn is in there, but I just, it's one of those things, I can't believe in you until you prove to me otherwise. Like, one game where you played well isn't enough of a sample size when you've played, 13 of them. So I think if we could see him have a nice turnaround, that could be an added bonus, right? But ideally, Dennis Schroeder, Thomas Bryant, we need those two to have continue to have great performances, especially Schroeder, because Schroeder gives us the flexibility of moving off of some of these other guys. And then our big three, obviously. Now LeBron is still questionable going into shoot around, so we'll see later. Maybe by the time this video, by the time you're watching this video, maybe it's already been confirmed. But at least at the time of recording this video, there's no information on whether LeBron James is available or not. He's still questionable. But whether he plays or not, it doesn't really matter. This is a game that we should win. Now, if LeBron does play, I really hope he comes in and fits within the offense. We had 29 assists on like 43 made baskets. Like, that's really good, right? Like the Spurs and the great Spurs teams and like the Warriors teams and stuff, their target goal is 30 assists a game. We were moving the ball, we were sharing the ball, and it showed. Our offense isn't stagnant. It's nice. It's really good. And a big problem with LeBron this season is him just holding the ball and stopping the ball movement. How many times have we seen him hold the ball for like 20 seconds in the shot clock, take a step back, three? Like, we don't need that. We need him to stay within the scope of the offense. We need him to be a component that's pushing this offense, is pushing this. We've also been playing faster with him out, right? And that's been really working because you got Russell Westbrook. You got the Energizer Bunny that just never quits, never gets tired. That is important. That is key. And you need that. So hopefully LeBron, if he comes in and he does play, hopefully he kind of fits within our offense rather than just trying to take over the offense and, do what he wants to do. Hopefully he can kind of keep it in it because his way hasn't been working this year, right? The games, if you go look at all the games we've won, they've all, like all of the noticeable components are the ball's moving more, we play faster, the defense plays better. Like, all of these things are real factors. And the games we lose are the ones that LeBron's just holding the ball and just being careless and just making poor decisions. And I love LeBron. LeBron is arguably, if not the greatest player ever. And I don't think this is a father time thing because it's decision making. It's not really just his skill set. And the pick and roll, the way LeBron is running the pick and roll is driving me insane. Like, stop running the pick and roll with LeBron James because clearly either he doesn't want to do it or he just, I don't know. I don't know what it is because he is just not being aggressive on that pick and roll. And that's why Russ and Winning Gabriel look great together because you have two guys that are so active that are 100% constantly. That's why that two-man game is so good. And Russ and Anthony Davis, the pick and roll, is so good because Russ really hits off of those corners. And it puts the defense in such a compromised position because now they either have to come out and challenge Russ, and now you got an easy dump off to Anthony Davis or Winning Gabriel, or they have to roll with the big man, and then Russ has got an easy layup. We've seen that over and over and over and over again. Russ, we need a solid game. We need a good, solid game. Now, scoring-wise, he hasn't been very good lately. He's had a little bit of a struggles on the offensive side of just the scoring output, but he is impacting the game in so many other ways. He's averaging like 12 assists over the last like 3-4 games. Like, the dude is doing great on the assist department. A lot of that is the pick and roll with Anthony Davis and Winning Gabriel. But also, he's not turning the ball over so much. I know a lot of people are like, Russ turns the ball. Like, he had 4 turnovers last night. He's had something like 36 or 35 assists and like 13 turnovers or something like that in the last like 3 games. So, I mean, that's like Chris Paul's like historic numbers. 3 for 1, 3 assists for 1 turnover ratio. Like, that's considered great. So he's not doing a bad job protecting the ball, taking care of the ball, doing what he needs to do, especially with this high usage rate lately with LeBron out. He's been fine in that department. Like, the Lakers had 16 turnovers. Russ had 4. Like, so he had a quarter of them, but he wasn't the problem, right? They got to do a better job in general of taking care of the ball. But Russ is a big component when it comes to just him just being aggressive, being physical, attacking. They don't really have interior defense. This is a great game for Russ to really give us production and be really good. So We need to see that. We need a good offensive output game from him. He's been playing great and solid on the defensive end. He's been fantastic defensively. He's been fantastic, setting other guys up, getting rebounds and stuff. So he's contributing in many ways outside of scoring, but it'd be nice to kind of see him put the package together tonight with or without LeBron James. And then Anthony Davis. He needs to remain aggressive. First player since Shaquille O'Neal back in 2000 to have 35 and 15 back-to-back rebound games. Dude is killing it. Dude looks like a top 3 player right now. He needs to continue that. We need that progression. He's been fantastic on the defensive end, fantastic on the offensive end. He needs to maintain that aggression. This guy, legit, if we can get into the playoffs, Anthony Davis is seriously in the conversation for MVP and Defensive Player of the Year. He's tied, last I checked, which was like 3 days ago, he was tied with Giannis for number 1 in total defense. So he's playing elite defense. And he's starting to give us that scoring output. He's playing like the Anthony Davis we need him to play. Hopefully he can continue that even without LeBron James or with LeBron James, right? Because he's doing a lot of it without LeBron. If LeBron comes back, they need to feed him. We're gonna go as far as Anthony Davis takes us. That's just what it is. We're gonna go as far as Anthony Davis takes us. So put Anthony Davis in a position to lead this charge. Let him be the bus driver, to use a Chuck reference. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What are things that you're looking for? What are key takeaways that you have going into this game? I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions, good, bad, ugly, somewhere in between. Let me know down in the comment section below.